Welcome to the Oneworld Global Academy. So, first, a huge congratulations to you. Whether you've been thinking about building a business for years or this opportunity came into your life unexpectedly, you've already done something that many people never do. You took that first step. So, over the next several weeks, we're not simply going to teach you how to build a business. We are going to help you build the foundation of being a true entrepreneur. And this is an important distinction. So, businesses can come and go, industries evolve, technology changes, exact strategies are going to shift, but the qualities of great entrepreneurs, the discipline, integrity, curiosity, resilience, and leadership are going to remain valuable no matter what path you choose or what changes come along the way. So, our goal isn't simply to help you become successful in your business. Our goal is to help you become the kind of person who can create success repeatedly because of who you've become. So, that's why we're going to begin here, not necessarily with products specifically or with sales or looking at the compensation plan details. We want to begin with purpose. Okay, one of the biggest misconceptions about success is that people simply need more motivation. Motivation feels exciting, it gets us started, but motivation can be temporary and fleeting. So every successful entrepreneur eventually discovers something more dependable, and that's purpose. So, purpose is what keeps you moving after that initial excitement wears off. Because here's what inevitably happens. There will be days when conversations maybe don't go as planned. There will be days when somebody is going to say no. There will be days when you start to question yourself. That doesn't mean that you've chosen the wrong path. It means that you're experiencing something every entrepreneur and really every person experiences when they make a decision. Your purpose is what is going to remind you why you started in the first place. So when many people hear the phrase, find your why, they immediately think of writing something emotional or dramatic. So while emotions can certainly be a part of it, and they should be, your why is really much simpler. So your why is the answer to this question. Why is building a business worth becoming a different version of myself? So notice that question doesn't ask what you want. It's asking who you're becoming, because building a business changes you. It stretches your confidence. It develops communication skills. It teaches leadership, requires patience. It builds resilience. In many ways, the greatest product you'll ever create is the person you become in the process. So many people are going to begin with goals like this, and they're wonderful. They're great goals, but I just want you to notice something about this. So a goal might be something like, I want extra income. I want more time. I want to travel. I want financial freedom. Now, these are wonderful goals, but they aren't usually strong enough on their own. So income is a result, freedom is a result, travel is a result. Your why is the reason that those results matter. So maybe it's creating more choices for your family. Maybe it's having the flexibility to attend your children's activities. Maybe it's reducing financial stress. Maybe it's creating a legacy. Maybe it's proving to yourself that you are capable of more than you've allowed yourself to believe to this point. The clearer your reason becomes, the easier your decisions become. So one thing you'll hear often throughout this academy is that consistency is far more valuable than intensity, right? So anyone can be excited for a week. Anyone can work hard for 1 month. But entrepreneurs who build something lasting learn to show up consistently. Not because they always feel that hype and high motivation, but because they know why they're showing up, right? Purpose makes ordinary actions become meaningful. So sending one invitation, following up with one conversation, listening to one training, reading 10 pages, those actions may seem small on any given day, but over time they shape both your business and your character. So many people also think that leadership begins when you have a team, but we see it differently here. So leadership begins the moment you decide to take responsibility for your own growth. The first person you're ever going to lead is yourself. Now that means keeping promises to yourself, following through on commitments, continuing to learn, taking ownership when things don't go perfectly. Now those habits create trust in yourself. And people naturally trust leaders who have first learned how to lead themselves. So we're going to talk about the entrepreneur's mindset. So one of the shifts I'd like to invite you to make during this academy is moving from asking the question, will this business work, to asking, how can I continue growing regardless of today's outcome? So this question alone changes everything, because every conversation becomes practice. Every challenge becomes feedback. Every success becomes something to be grateful for rather than something to fear losing. So growth now becomes the goal, and business results are now the byproduct. And see how this simple mindset shift can really change the perspective on how you approach each activity. So here is something that many people don't realize. The why that you write down today doesn't have to be the why you have forever. So as your life changes, as you expand and evolve, your purpose may deepen. It may expand outside of where you are now. Right now, your why may be more restricted, may in your close circle. And then as you grow and your capacity grows, then that why begins to grow with you. The amount of impact you can have changes. The people you want to affect change, right? So this is normal. And we want to invite that to come along the way. So what's important is having something meaningful enough to guide you right now. So don't wait for absolute perfect clarity, because it's going to be ever evolving. Begin with honest clarity about where you are now and what you are looking to achieve in this moment. So before we finish this first mentor session, I'd like to leave you with a few things to avoid doing. So the first common mistake is borrowing someone else's why. This is one of the biggest things, and something I myself did for a very long time. I created my whys and my reasons based on what I thought other people wanted for me, or thought that I should do or have. So your purpose doesn't have to sound impressive to somebody else. It needs to be true for you. The second mistake that I see often is that you make your why only about money. Now, money is an important tool. It is a great way to measure our progress with a physical number, but it's rarely the deepest reason that people are going to continue when things start to get hard. So if you're looking at money, it's a great place to start, but I want you to think more deeply about what is the money for? What is the purpose behind the money? Attach actual things to what you are going to do with the money when it comes, right? This is going to give it more purpose, more meaning, and more impact for yourself and the impact that you want to make. And then mistake number 3 is waiting until your why feels perfect. It doesn't have to be perfect, and it's going to be ever evolving. You just need to write it down today, and you can refine it later. Okay, progress is more valuable than perfection, and that is going to hold true throughout all of your work as an entrepreneur, throughout all the work in this academy, is looking at the progress day by day rather than trying to have perfection. So at Oneworld Global, we believe that leadership is not reserved for a select few. Leadership is a decision. So every person who joins this community has the potential to become someone who positively influences others. The foundation of that influence begins with understanding your own purpose. People are inspired by authenticity. When your actions consistently align with your values and your purpose, people will notice. Not because you're trying to convince them, because you're becoming someone worth following. And that's a huge distinction. So I invite you to take time looking at your journal. This week, for the weekly challenge, set aside at least 30 minutes of just uninterrupted time. Quiet time with yourself where you can write your why statement. You can reflect on some of these things. There's a few prompts that might be helpful when you're coming up with your why statement. Some of these include why did I choose to begin this journey? What opportunities would success create for me and the people that I care about? What kind of person do I hope to become? What values do I want to embody while building this business? If I look back 1 year from today, what would make me proud of the effort I invested, not just the results achieved? So remember that your why statement doesn't have to be long and it doesn't have to be super detailed. It simply needs to be meaningful to you. Now, a few other reflection questions to think about before you move on to our next mentor session is going to be spending a few minutes thinking about what inspired me to explore entrepreneurship in the first place, especially if this is your first encounter with it. What fears or doubts might I need to move through in order to grow? And how do I hope that this journey changes me beyond just the financial success that will come? So write your own thoughts down. Often clarity is going to grow through taking these moments for reflection. So key takeaways from today is purpose lasts longer than motivation. Entrepreneurship is about much more related to your personal growth than just business growth. Leadership begins by leading yourself. Small, consistent actions create extraordinary long-term results. And your why is allowed to grow as you grow. So thank you for joining me in this first mentor session. I hope that you leave today with one important realization. You're not simply learning just how to build a business. You're beginning the process of becoming someone who can create opportunities, serve others well, and continue growing throughout your life. Now, in our next conversation, we'll build on this foundation by exploring one of the most important qualities every entrepreneur develops, and that's discipline. Because purpose gives us direction, but discipline is what keeps us moving forward. Until next time, remember this. We don't build businesses by chasing people. We build businesses by becoming people worth following. I'll see you in the next mentor session.